y'all. In today's video, I'm going to show you a little glimpse into my Schoolnest homeschool planner from the last school year that I am almost finished with. And I'm also going to take you along as I set up my new Schoolnest homeschool planner for the 2023-2024 school year. Let's get into it. First of all, if you're new here, welcome. My name is Kaela. I am a homeschool alumni turned homeschool mom. I'm currently homeschooling 2 of my 3 girls. We are about to start our 6th year of homeschooling. I will have a daughter going into 4th grade and a daughter going into 1st grade. I'm really excited about a lot of the things that I've selected for our upcoming school year. But one of the things that I am most excited about is this absolutely gorgeous homeschool planner from Schoolnest. So let's flip the camera around and take a closer look. So this is my planner from last year that I am still finishing up. I will have this planner totally wrapped at the end of July, and then I will go into this planner for our new school year for 2023-2024, and I'll start this one in August. Both of these planners are from Schoolnest. I love how open-ended they are. They're really easy to customize for my individual needs and purposes, and obviously these covers are gorgeous. Now, both of these are 52-week undated planners. However, last year I got the larger version. It has some more pages that this minimalist version does not have. I really thought that I would need those extra pages, and I ended up not using them. So this time around, I'm going to go the minimalist route, which has less pages, but it has everything that I know I will need and use. The other big thing that I'm doing differently is for last year's planner, I actually took it to Office Depot. I had the spine cut off, and I used my Happy Planner punch to punch each of these pages so that I could put it on a disc system. I thought that this would be really useful so that I could easily remove pages or add custom pages. But to be honest with you, I don't think it was really worth it. It was super time consuming and it made the planner a lot bulkier. And I ended up not really adding very many of my own custom pages at all. So this time around, I'm just going to stick with the binding that this comes with. It is a soft book binding. I actually really love the spine of these planners. The beautiful cover art wraps all the way around the spine and to the back, and I really don't want to lose that pretty spine. So we are just going to use it like this and see how it goes. When I took off the spine and did the disc bind system, I actually moved all of the months. So if you look at the table of contents, the undated monthly calendar pages are right in the middle, and they are separate from all of your week pages. I actually went through and moved my monthly pages to be right in front of the weeks that correspond to them. So I spread out the month pages and then would put like 4 or 5 weeks behind each month. I really thought that that was kind of an essential change for me because I wasn't used to having the months separated from the weeks the way that they are in the Schoolnest planner. Moving the pages around didn't ruin anything because for the most part the monthly pages are blank on the back. There were a couple spots where it got a little wonky. Anyway, after using it this way, I am not going to mess around with the page order next time. It was another customization that I thought I really needed, and it ended up not mattering very much. So back to the beginning, I never really filled out this blank page that you could design to be anything you want. Here's the attendance page. I really like this page and I did use it. The next pages are these curriculum overview pages. I sort of went through by subject that we would cover as a family first. And then I created a page for each of my students, and I used these headings and boxes for each particular sort of core skill subject that they were going to be covering. The next thing are these book list pages. I really like the art at the bottom. I didn't really color these or do anything with it, but you could if you wanted to. I used one whole page to keep track of some of the chapter books that my older daughter read independently. And then I used another page to keep track of family read-alouds. After that, there are these curriculum progress pages. I did do some color coding. Generally, my older daughter is this kind of tealy color. My middle daughter is pink. And then anything we do together as a family is in orange. So then I start with my months, and again, I did move these around. I really like using the monthly spreads to sort of get a big picture of what we're going to be learning about in our homeschool, but also planning all of our family events, any sort of significant days. This is sort of what an early week looked like. You'll see kind of an evolution of how I filled things out and color coded as we move along. A lot of these early weekly spreads are blank, but I did come to rely on them pretty heavily later in the school year. So here's a weekly spread that's a little bit more filled out. I used this checklist section for literally my weekly checklist. So bills I needed to pay, errands I needed to run, chores I needed to do, videos that I needed to edit. Like literally, this is just my brain dump to-do list. It's not necessarily just for homeschool. I use this planner for my entire life and homeschool. There's also a section here for sort of an abbreviated weekly schedule. And then this larger section is where I did a lot of my upfront homeschool planning. A typical weekly spread gives you 7 sections down and 6 sections across. I always split my last section so that I can squeeze in Saturday and Sunday. I just use a ruler and add a black line here. The great thing about these planners is you can decide whether you want a vertical or a horizontal layout and just fill these in according to however you would like to use them. For me personally, I put the days of the week at the top and then I put subjects across the left side. I like my days to be vertical, almost like a checklist style. I didn't use a lot of stickers or washi tape in this planner. The only real section where I do have stickers are on my monthly spreads. Otherwise, for the most part, what you're going to see is just a lot of color coding in the pens that I use and a lot of brain dump lists. These are just the pages that I use to sort of get my thoughts together and get my head around what I would like to accomplish in that homeschool week. And then when I actually go to the weekly page, I don't plan any of this ahead of time. If I do write anything in here, it's always in pencil, but on my weekly spread, this is where I'm actually going to be doing the planning from behind and writing things down as we do them. So anything written in here, I know that we already did. These bottom 4 sections are going to be the same subjects that I had in my spread here. So history/geography, science, ELA and lit study, and then arts or miscellaneous. These top 3 sections are not represented here because these are the areas where we just do the next thing in our books, where I just keep track of their math, handwriting, spelling, reading lessons. All of their skill-based work goes here, and it's really just doing the next lesson. There's not a whole lot of planning that goes into that. Here's a week from April where we actually did almost everything that I had planned in advance. So you can see all of this is checked off. Once I have my lists for each subject, I will go and in pencil sort of plug in things where I think they might fit best. And then once we actually do those, I will go back and write them in pen and check them off. It also looks like I got to most of my chores this week. So this was a good week back in April. Okay, so now the fun part. I want to set up this pretty girl right here. And just so you know, both of these covers are still available from Schoolnest through Amazon. I will link both of them in the description box below. Because they're undated, you can always pick any cover that you would like for any year, so just keep that in mind. But this cover, you guys, is so beautiful, and the camera is really not doing it justice. The colors are so rich, and because this planner is so pretty, I had to pick up some new pretties to go along with it. So I have some monthly stickers here, and I believe that this set gave me like 6 years worth. There were several sheets included. I just pulled out the ones that I needed. I'll have all of these goodies linked in the description box below if you decide that you want them for your planner. The next thing that I got are these monthly day stickers. And they're also just in really pretty like ombre style colors. Oh, I love this one. I'm definitely going all in with the colors to match this really pretty cover. I'm hoping these will fit really well in these circles. They might be a little bit too big, but I think that they will work out. And they'll definitely look nicer than my handwriting, so that's a win. I also bought 2 sets of pens. I am not a pen girl yet. I'm trying to be. I am a wannabe bullet journal planner pen girl, but I am by no means an expert in pens or highlighters or anything like that. The main thing that I was looking for was I wanted super fine tip, smooth writing, smudge free, and I wanted a specific color palette. So I found these 2 sets. This one is from Amazon. It's Write Text liquid rollerball pens in their vintage color set. And then after I ordered the Write Tech ones from Amazon, I saw this set at Walmart. These are a little bit more pastel looking, but I thought they were so beautiful. And I also really love this packaging that they come in. Look at how that flips and is like on a hinge. So you can really use this to store your pens, and it's very travel friendly. I love a really thin pen, so already these just feel better in my hand. They're lighter and much thinner to hold than these guys, but these are still relatively thin, and if the color pays off, they're going to be a win. Okay, so let's put the pens aside for just a second. I'm going to give you a quick tour of this before I start marking it up. I am going to be breaking this spine in as I go. I love that she's included some black line art throughout this planner. You have the option to color these in and have even more fun with your planner. Also, if you haven't noticed already, the paper color is pretty different. This new version has a creamier, more vintage paper color, whereas the planner I bought previously from her is stark white paper. When you open, you have your same table of contents. So this minimalist version is not going to include the daily details pages, which I'm totally fine with because I did not end up using these at all. We have this really pretty grid page in the front with some nice artwork. Your 12-month calendar that's blank for you to fill in. Same thing with a field trips page. The attendance tracker that I know I'm going to get a lot of use out of. This section for classes, I might put some washi tape over this and label it for something else. We don't really do a lot of extracurricular classes or online classes. Then we have our curriculum overview pages. I'm definitely going to be using those. Our book list pages. Curriculum progress pages. And then our monthly spreads. Now, here's another key difference between this version and the older version that I have. The monthly spreads in this older version are all on one page and they're kind of squished and narrow. So it was a little bit difficult to write in some of these boxes. So that was one thing that she updated and changed. You now have a 2-page spread for each month. You have a section for notes or a checklist or whatever you'd like to put over here, and then plenty of room for planning out your month. Then we have a 2-page review spread for each month. I really like that. And it goes on like that for all of the months. You'll notice there's different artwork, lots of options for coloring. I just love it so much, you guys. Look at how pretty. It's just beautiful. This is my favorite. I love the mushrooms. So cute. I can't decide if I'm going to color these or leave them the way they are because I really like them just like this. Okay, so after your monthly pages, you go into your weekly pages. So each week we'll start with your 2-page planning spread. You have an area where you can do a weekly overview, a checklist area, and a schedule area. So if you'll remember, the layout to this is just a little bit different, and I actually really like the new version. It used to be that your overview section was kind of split between 2 pages with a checklist on this side and a schedule on this side, and that worked great. I don't have any complaints about it, but I like this better. It just makes more sense in my brain, where all of your overview is on 1 page, then your checklist and schedule is split on your 2nd page. Then you go right into your weekly grids, and they just continue to alternate exactly like that for 52 weeks. You have these pages in the back: curriculum reflections, what worked and what didn't, curriculum plans for next year. After that, we have our wrap-up pages: end of the year wrap-up, what went well, end of the year wrap-up, focus for next year. And then we have a nice little conclusion page where she thanks us for purchasing a Schoolnest notebook. I love these. They're such a nice touch. There's also a couple of blank pages in the back just in case you need extra room for more notes. First thing that I'm gonna do is set up my month spreads, because that just seems like the easiest and most non-committal thing that I can start with. So I need to pick stickers for each month and sort of a color scheme. And we are going to start this with August. Let's try this banner one. I feel like this is pretty summery and also representative of how hot August is. I do have my cheat sheet here. I just printed a free academic calendar off of Google just so I can see when the month starts. Okay, so August is mostly done. I want to write the days of the week at the top. So I'm going to go to the back, these back extra pages, and do a quick swatch test of these pins. Let's just see if anything bled through. A little bit of shadowing with the darker colors, but I wouldn't call that bleeding through. Okay, so those are those. Let's look at the right tech ones. I feel like these deeper ones sort of go with the color scheme on the cover a lot better than the pastels. But I am such a sucker for these peach tones. These didn't write as smoothly or as readily as the Japanese ones from Walmart, but I do love the color payoff from this set, and the palettes are so different that I feel like I'm probably going to get use out of both. The Right Tech pens also have some shadowing, definitely more than the pastel colors, which is to be expected because these are deeper tones. So for August, I think I'm probably going to go with pink. All right, now we get to do that all over again 12 times. All right, that took a while, but I got all of my months done and they turned out so pretty. I love the color schemes. I kind of coordinated my pen color to my sticker color, and those little details make my heart so happy. Who says stickers are for kids? Stickers are for everyone. I love stickers. Okay, the next thing I want to do is fill in my yearly calendar page. And the sticker pack that I used for my month stickers has these shorter, smaller versions for each month. So I'm going to use those. So what I'm actually going to do on this page is I'm not going to write the dates again. I'm going to use this as kind of my map for the year of what we're going to be studying and reading during each of those months. So let me show you some of the preliminary work that I did for this. And if you follow me on Instagram, you might have already seen this on stories. The first thing I did was I printed an academic calendar. I just Googled 2023, 2024 academic calendar. So then what I did was I went through and I assigned our school weeks to each of these month weeks. So I know that we're going to aim for 36 weeks of instruction. I'm not required by my state to do that, but that's just the way that most school years are organized, and it's also the way most curriculum is written to be covered in 36 weeks or 180 days. So I just kind of stick to that just to make it simpler for myself. The way that I'm going to split that up is I'm going to do it in 6-week increments, and then after 6 weeks of instruction, we will pause for a break. So I went ahead and just kind of arranged all of that. So you'll see I have weeks 1 through 5 in August, and then the 6th week is the first week of September, then a break week, and then we start again 6 weeks, break week, 6 weeks, and so on. The next thing I did was I went through our main 2 curricula that we're going to be using for history and for science and saw what units we were going to be studying in what order, and then I sort of assigned those to the various weeks / months. The other thing, and I'm going to make a whole separate video on this, so my daughters and I actually brainstormed together. I gave them a whole list of novels to choose from, and we each chose some that we really want to read this year. So on this very messy piece of printer paper, I just jotted down a map for the year. So for August, September, October, and so on, each of these boxes is a month. And I jotted down what we're going to be studying in history, in science, and then our read aloud or read alouds that we're going to try to do in that month. So that is what I'm going to transfer onto this page. I'm going to try to make this look neater and nicer. I might do it in pencil first. I might go back and write this in pen or make it look more decorative, but for right now, that's okay with me. I don't have any field trips planned just yet, so I'm going to leave that blank. For attendance, what I am going to do is I'm going to go back to my months, and I'm going to find the pen that I used for the days of the week on my monthly spreads and write the names of the month across in that color. If you like colors to be in Roy G. Biv order, don't look at this because it might bug you. But I like the way that that looks. I think it turned out really pretty. The next thing I'm going to do is mark off my weekends. I'm just going to do this with a black pen. Alright, so as you can see, I started moving a little too quickly and I messed up a couple of times in April. Oh well, what can you do, right? I covered it with some labels, plain white labels that I tried to cut to size as best I can. It's not the prettiest thing in the world. I'm not an artist, but you know, it is what it is. It'll function just fine. And once this is colored in with colored pencil, I don't think it will be as noticeable hopefully. Okay, we are on session 2 of setting up this planner. I have gone in and just added a few little fun stickers that I already had on hand. But right now what I'm going to do is add some washi tape to the edge of each of these monthly spreads. And that's going to kind of serve as tabs for me to be able to find each of the months relatively quickly. And then back at the beginning, I'm going to make some sort of table of contents with the tape. And I got that idea from a mom on Instagram. So it's definitely not my original idea, but I loved it so much. Okay, so I created this little fun table of contents for each of my months. I just put a swatch of the same washi tape that I used for my edges for that month. So like for April, it's butterflies. And then I used these pretty paint stroke month stickers next to each swatch. And on this blank page, I just jotted down sort of a rough pencil idea of a typical weekly routine for us for some of our family subjects and also some of the things that we cover during our heart time. I might do something to make this a little bit more official or pretty looking later, but for right now, I'm okay with this. I like starting off the year with a loose idea of a routine or a rhythm that we can use, but I don't want to be tied to anything too tightly because I know that things will fluctuate and change throughout the year depending on how we're feeling, on what we're interested in. So this is really just a loose guideline for me. Over here, you might remember that this page used to be labeled field trips. And what I actually decided to do was to just have both of these spreads be for my school year calendar, but in different ways. So I already showed you how I jotted down sort of general themes that we're going to be learning about as a family during each of our months. Over here, I decided to do a more traditional academic calendar for the year. I marked our school weeks, and then I have in pencil our break weeks squared off. That way, if I need to move anything around, if we end up needing a break at a different point in the year, I can easily erase these and move things around. I also wrote these in the same color pen that I used for that particular month on the larger monthly spreads, just to keep everything kind of coordinated. A lot of these washi tapes that I'm using, in fact, almost all of them, I think with the exception of this one and this one, all of these came in a box set that I got. I really like the pretty vintage nature-y themes that came in that set, and I will have that linked below with everything else just in case you are interested in it. This pretty sort of rainbow floral tape is also in that set. I did sort of start filling out some of these curriculum overview pages as well. And I also jotted down in pencil some of the read alouds that I am planning on doing this year. For the read alouds that I'm planning on doing during a particular month, I sort of did a color key over here that matches the same color pen I've used for that month throughout the planner. And then I also have a preliminary book list for each of my daughters. These are some books that they have expressed a desire in reading either independently, or in my first grader's case, we'll probably be doing these, her and I together in a buddy reading style. I will be working on my curriculum progress pages as I get all of my curricula organized and as everything comes in the mail. So those are going to be a work in progress for the whole year. Another thing that I added in pencil on my monthly spreads is I just did a very small, I don't even know if you can see it, but I wrote these school weeks really small next to each week row, just as another way of keeping track of where we are. And then I also just wrote break week next to the weeks where I am thinking we are going to be taking breaks. I kept these note sections for the monthly spreads nice and clear so that I can use those as I actually get into the month. And I'm already starting to jot down just a few video ideas or different things that I have planned for August and September. I really love all of the colors of the stickers and the washi tape. I think it added so much personality, and it just makes the planner feel a lot more like me. And it makes me so much more excited to jump into our new school year and to use this beautiful planner. I decided that I am not going to fill out any of the weekly spreads just yet. I will just do those as I go. I typically sit down on a Friday or a Sunday each week and just sort of get my head around the next week. And that's when I will go through and date these and do sort of my weekly plan on these spreads. If you're interested in some planning with me videos, let me know in the comments below and I can definitely take you guys through that process. For right now, I feel like this is all set up and ready for me to use as I jump into our next school year in August. I really hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please consider giving it a big thumbs up. I will see y'all in the next one. Bye for now.